We can just start whenever. I mean,
I'm dead inside.
me too, but that's
Glad
okay.
we can be depressed together. Misery loves company, Zach. You know this.
And you're my favorite kind of company, Paige.
It's true. You're my favorite kind of company.
Oh.
Ew, don't be gay about it. Everybody already knows I love you. The two people who listen.
See, I was gonna.
Both of our moms.
If I wish my mom would listen.
I know.
God. All right.
I'm happy now.
This is episode 8, I think, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Flying through
wow,
these.
8 episodes.
Oh, wow. We've been.
yeah. Throwback to that for episode 7, the sass you gave me. Douche.
It's just.
Welcome to episode 8 of Beer and Fear.
It's not your turn to do this.
It's my turn every time.
No.
My name is Paige.
I go first.
No, you don't.
This is episode 8 of Beer and Fear.
Oh, you're gonna be a bitch like that.
My name is Zach. There's a lot of today. There's a lot of built up anger and frustration, and
We've
we're
got
all
some energy.
we're just all getting it out on this podcast. So
Yeah, we're gonna go to a rage room later and break TVs.
you guys are just now a part of this.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, he brought out his little notepad.
There's no going back. I need to look at the things that I wrote down to remember what I wanted to talk about. Oh, I'm supposed to ask you first, since I'm the one who introduced the episode this week. Obviously,
Did you?
As we've established.
I feel like I did.
Okay, enough with the bickering. Let's talk about how you've been. How's your week been? Any cool things happen? It's okay if you say no, because I've had many of those weeks also where it's just been a lot of the same.
Can't think of anything that really stands out. Nothing exciting.
You kind of surprised me when you said you got another pet.
Oh, don't bring that up.
We don't have to go into it, but
It was very sad.
you get a lot of people bringing in a lot of pets.
We get animals abandoned all the time.
Yeah, and you seem to be the one who always takes them home and takes them in. And
True. Kirsten does it too. Kirsten has like 35 pets.
well, I think that's super generous and nice of you guys to do that.
I'm sad about it.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. The pet wasn't in the best condition when it was brought in. We don't have to tell the whole story,
We
but
can, it's fine.
yeah.
Had a lady call the store and say that she found a parakeet in her backyard, and she wanted to know if she could bring it in if she caught it. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, thinking she wouldn't be able to catch it, that it would just fly away. She came in a little bit later with the parakeet in a box. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. It's not a big deal. I have a big bird cage. So he didn't look to be in the best condition, pretty lethargic. I was like, maybe if I can get him under a heat lamp and exposed to some food, because who knows how long he'd been out without food, maybe he'll have a chance to recover. But he died yesterday.
Yeah, that's probably why she was able to catch the bird.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking because it was raining, the bird was probably just tired. But when I felt its stomach and its crop where they store food, it was just so thin.
Now, I'm hoping that was just an accident, how the bird was able to get out of the house, because...
Usually it is.
Okay. And it's unfortunate.
Unless
times
someone
like that.
decided to release their parakeet, which also can happen
And
sometimes.
yeah, now that's what upsets me, is that if you're going to have a pet, like I that really pisses me off. People who decide to get a pet and then don't take the proper, procedures and how to take care of it and know how to take care of it and are responsible pet owners.
That's
And
the
they
thing.
either end up giving it away to someone.
Yep.
Or
Parakeets are usually rehomed at least 3 to 4 times in their lifespan.
Oh,
And they live for over a decade.
I did not know that.
Birds have very long lives. Unless you're like a finch or something, but...
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna have a pet, it's a commitment. You can't just decide a couple months down the road that it's not working out. You can't.
Well, it's because a lot of the time people think of them as a commodity or a product rather than a living creature that can be scarred.
Yeah.
It's very sad. And birds are so smart too.
Right.
I mean, you'll see those videos of them acting like idiots online, but they have their moments. But that's about it. I just kind of started my week off sad. I woke up and he was dead.
That was a week ago?
No,
Oh.
it was today.
Oh.
Started
You
my
said you-
week off sad.
Oh, and then this happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
But nothing else really stands out. I mean, work's just been work. That's it. I'm just glad that it's getting colder outside finally.
I'm kind of excited for winter.
Love spooky season.
No, take that back. I'm excited for fall.
Yes.
Not excited for winter. If we can go from fall and then to like late spring,
Yes. How about you?
all for it.
What do you got jotted down?
Let's see. Oh, I was going to talk about. I couldn't remember what I wanted to talk about. I was laying in bed a couple nights ago, and I was like, "Oh, this would be great." I saw this thing on Reddit. It'd be a cool thing to talk about on the show. See, this is what happens. I didn't write it down. I didn't jot it down in my phone, and I forgot. So instead, I'll talk about this new subreddit that I found.
Oh dear God.
Because I'm a child and I find this actually somewhat entertaining.
You are a child.
The subreddit is called "I'm 15 and this is Yeet."
What?
If you're on Reddit, you can look up the subreddit "I'm 15 and this is Yeet," because apparently I'm 15.
And this is Yeet.
and scrolling through some of the shit that's on here, I can't, like, I just crack up laughing when I'm at work because some of this shit is just so ridiculously stupid that it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of the memes I've been sending you over the past couple days
Are from that subreddit? Oh my
so they're pretty funny. Again, if you're on Reddit, check it out. You can see how ridiculous it is. And I legitimately feel like a teenager, feel like a small child laughing at these posts. Other than that, I managed to rearrange a lot of stuff
Looks
around
so
my
nice.
apartment. I got a new couch, which we're now sitting on. This is
Like I said, my butt is comfortable.
this is the first episode with a new couch. Breaking this baby in. I got a new art. And then
a new art.
I've got a bar shelf, which I got a sometime last week. I think I had that for last week's episode, so that's
You
really
did.
nice. I
You
can have
mentioned
a few more bottles and stuff on there. Get all the clutter off my bar, which is nice. I moved the old couch into the second bedroom, so it's kind of a little more comfy in there. And I cleaned some stuff up, moving some boxes and crap in the closet where no one can see it. And just kind of making things a little more comfortable and a little more homey. I just like how everything's kind of coming together. It's making me happy. It's keeping me occupied, and it's somewhat therapeutic. You know, like cleaning up
I thought you were going to say shopping.
and like tidying up. Shopping is therapeutic. Oh, well, yeah. Shopping and buying stuff is obviously therapeutic.
Oh, yeah.
Spending money, you know,
yeah.
that's a big.
That's how you fill up a void in your heart
Yeah.
for like all of 5 seconds.
Just buy things that make you happy.
Yes. And then you realize, wow, I didn't need this.
I was telling
Oh.
a friend that I did that years ago. I was feeling particularly nostalgic of old video games, so I bought on eBay a Game Boy Advance SP, a light blue one of the nicer ones, like the second gen ones.
Oh my God, I still have my original one from when I first got it.
Oh man, I wish I never had one as a kid. I had a Game Boy Advance, not the SP.
I was spoiled.
But I bought an SP off of eBay, and then I bought Pokemon Blue, and then I played it for about a couple weeks, and then
Lost all interest.
I got preoccupied with something else. I ended up selling it again. So that's kind of like the rinse and repeat story of a lot of stuff that I bought in my past. I've gotten a lot better at it. We don't have anything else to talk about, so let's get into the beer.
We're rambling.
This
We
is
should cut half this.
episode 8. We're so close to 10. We're gonna make it.
I mean, yeah.
I love the
I'm not
enthusiasm.
going to quit and go off on a solo career.
You're gonna have your own podcast?
Yep. There's a pupper. Burf.
There's a lot of dogs around, and they're all adorable. And I makes me want a dog, but
You don't need a dog.
I don't need a dog. So episode 8, we're talking about Slender Man.
Slenderman.
I'm really excited for this episode because I think this is a really cool topic. The dog's fine, okay? If I start hearing kids outside the door, I'm going to get upset. The dog's okay. Dogs are great. I love dogs. So Slender Man, really excited. I think this is a cool topic, an exciting topic. Get to discover.
Okay, so it's been around for a while. When I first heard about it, it was actually scary. Now it's just like...
Now it's funny. Yeah, because it's been just so
Overplayed.
overdone. Yeah, and every, like, video games and movies and crap like that. It's become a parody thing at this point. But yeah, I remember when it first came out.
It was actually like a thing where you were like, oh, this is spooky.
Right. It was like the first creepy pasta thing that really like freaked the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Especially at around our age, being teenagers. But so for Slenderman, I decided on a beer called The Man by Ale Man Brewing Company. The brewery is Ale Man, and they have a beer called The Man. That's what we're trying today. Ale Man Brewing Company is in our hometown, 3304 North Knox Avenue in Chicago.
Oh, hey.
They were founded in 2011. This is all according to their Facebook page because they don't have any of this information on their website. Oh. Because they're such a small brewery, apparently, I think is why. So, founded in 2011. Their mission from their Facebook page. Aleman Brewing was assembled by Nate Albrecht, Josh Berry, Jim Morehouse, and Brad Zeller. We are a living, breathing Voltron of strengths, opinions, and experiences. We are governed by the urban hustle and corn-fed integrity of our sweet home, Chicago. Our loyalties are to each other, our duties are to our families, and our responsibilities are to the communities in which we operate. We tackle problems creatively, we value the importance of personal relationships, and we make great beer. It also says, good beer knows no ethnicity, nationality, gender, or religion. We're all in this together, and we are committed to going above and beyond to produce the best possible beer while trying to minimize the impact we have on our tiny planet. We are all born humans. You must choose to become an aleman.
You must choose to become an aleman.
Isn't that cool? These guys are dope.
Dorky.
This is a description of the beer. The Man is not an oppressive governmental regime, nor is it that movie with Jules Winfield and the dad from American Pie. It's not even the hit single from recording megastar Aloe Black. The Man is simply the boss. It's Dayman without the coffee. In a market dominated by hops, our base IPA has evolved into a consistent workhorse, perfect for any occasion. Pretty cool. I'm excited to try this. It's in the freezer. I should probably take it out of the freezer.
Oh.
Pretty sure carbonated things in the freezer never a good idea.
No, they explode.
Stuff has a tendency to blow up. So Aleman, or The Man, is an IPA. And we're going to talk a little bit about what IPAs are. If you don't know, I'm not too well versed in what IPAs are. I just know they're really common, and a lot of people act snooty with IPAs. So let's talk about what a pale ale first is. I think we may have had a pale ale before. I can't remember. But pale ales are brewed predominantly with pale malt, and it's a type of malted barley that is light in color, and today the cheapest barley malt available due to mass production.
We've had a pale ale before.
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure Apex Predator was a pale ale. No, that was a Saison.
Maybe it was the second. No, that was a stout. No, maybe it was Apex. I don't know. One of those, it was a pale ale, but it wasn't an IPA. I remember that.
Oh, well. Moving on.
It has a high proportion of pale malt, which results in a lighter color. There are many different kinds of pale ales, all with differing tastes and characters. There are amber ales, APAs, which are American pale ales, blonde ales, IPAs, which we're going to drink, Irish red ales, and Scotch ales, just to name a few. India Pale Ale is a hoppy style of pale ale developed in England around 1840 for export to India. That's why it's called an IPA. There are also many different kinds of IPAs. There are black IPAs, brute IPAs, double IPAs, New England IPAs, triple IPAs, and West Coast IPAs, to name a few as well. In the United States, sales of IPAs have increased, helping drive the craft beer renaissance. In 2019, across all craft beer sales, IPAs account for the largest percentage of any style at 31.5%. As such, IPAs frequently top the lists of several beer awards annually. For example, Bell's Brewery Two Hearted Ale has been awarded the best beer in America for 3 consecutive years, starting in 2017. In years prior, Two Hearted Ale often placed second. The most awarded IPA to date is Goose Island IPA. I'm pretty sure I've had Two Hearted by Bell's. I love Bell's Brewing.
I don't think I've had that.
And then I've definitely had Goose Island IPA before, too.
I definitely had not had that, but I remember what it looks like.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had both of those beers, but from what I can recall, they're pretty good. I'm sure we'll have them at some point.
I'm looking it up. Never trust a goose.
I remember Goose Island when I was a kid, because they also make root beer. So whenever someone said Goose Island, me as a kid would think root beer. It's like, yeah, I'll take a Goose Island. And I'd get a root beer at a restaurant.
I remember when I was younger, I was unaware of like there being things besides like beer and hard liquor, like hard lemonade.
Oh yeah.
So I went to live with my dad, and I was like, oh my god, there's lemonade in the fridge. I love lemonade. So I was like, Dad, can I have one of your Mike's hard lemonade? He's like, Paige, that's alcohol. That's an alcoholic beverage. I'm like, oh.
So can I have one?
It felt so stupid.
Oh man, it's been a while since I had Mike's. I love Mike's.
They're disgusting.
Mike's. There's some flavors that are not good.
Watermelon makes my stomach turn.
Mike's limeade is really good.
So much sugar.
That's why they're good. They're just so sweet. I threw this fun fact in here just because I really didn't know the difference. I'm not sure if you know the difference, but we're going to talk about malt versus hop and the differences between the two and how they kind of play into the beer and make what the beer is.
Lay it on me.
So malt produces, malt provides the sugars that are fermented by the yeast to create alcohol and CO2.
Your beard hair is standing up there.
Here? Here? Here?
Yeah, it's just standing straight up.
Huh. Yeah, it's getting a little long.
Give me a profile. Give me a profile the other way. Okay, you're good.
Yeah, I guess I got to
I'm getting a little crazy there.
Yeah, getting a little long. So malt provides the sugars that are fermented by the yeast to create alcohol.
Oh my god, it's still doing it. That's just bothering me.
Here?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I use, I've got beard oil.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use that. I didn't use that today. Maybe that's the problem. Still doing it?
Yes!
Oh my god. Okay, we're going to have to take a break.
It's bothering me.
Okay. Malt versus hop. Malt provides the sugars that are fermented by the yeast to create alcohol and CO2. So the carbonation and what makes the drink give you buzz, you know? They are the primary source of beer color and contribute significantly to the flavor and mouthfeel. While hops provide bitterness to balance the sweetness of the malt, as well as flavors and aromas ranging from citrus and pine to earthy and spicy. So I guess that's why, again, just a guess, I'm not a pro on beer. We just have a beer podcast.
Yep.
With, so like how stouts and porters, I guess, you don't really get the bitterness from them. They're more silky and creamy and stuff like that because I think they're more malt forward. I guess that would be why. While as IPAs, like we're going to drink, I guess it's my understanding that IPAs are much more hop forward. So you can definitely taste the bitterness and the hops, and they contribute largely to the sweetness.
Why I don't like them.
And the flavor. There are a lot of IPAs that I'm not a fan of, but
there's too many. There's so many IPAs.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I guess
good.
that's good for this.
It's variation, and you can't. I don't think it's good to just make a
I don't
blanket.
think I've ever tasted an IPA that tastes the same as another IPA.
True, and that's exactly why you can't make a blanket just statement of like I dislike all IPAs because there's just so many different.
There are some that I'm okay with,
Yeah.
but it's not like I actively
Hopefully this
seek
is
out
one of them.
IPAs.
Hopefully, this is one of them.
We will see.
The Man is available year round. It is 6.8% ABV and 40 IBUs. The Man contrasts a malt bill of mostly pale malt, accentuated by acidulated and crystal malts, with bright, assertive Cascade, Amarillo, Mosaic, and Citra hops. We've talked about Cascade Mosaic hops before. I'll just really quickly talk about Amarillo hops. They're highly acidic, and they create a delicious orange citrus flavor. And Citra hops, they have a strong citrusy profile, as the name would suggest. They contribute flavors of grapefruit, lime, and tropical fruits. Despite its high alphas, brewers, which I don't know what that means, brewers often warn against its use for bittering, which is considered by some to be harsh and undesirable, but it is one of the most coveted high-impact aroma hops in the U.S., particularly among craft brewers. So I'm excited to try this beer. I'm excited to talk about Slenderman.
I'm excited to try every beer that we try.
Hell yeah.
Until I'm proven wrong. I like the can. Can't see shit in here.
Also, I pre-gamed with my last bottle of Famosa because I was tired of looking at it in my fridge.
Like, just get out of here,
I
Famosa.
got so close to just opening it and dumping it in the sink.
No, what a waste.
But because I opened it and it's like There's that ashtray. Smell again. But it was fine. I'm glad it's no longer in my fridge. My fridge is kind of getting a little full of the leftover beers from these.
I told you I would take some of your bat squatch for my dad.
It's okay. Bat Squatch Hay was one of the ones that I was happy to hang around.
Just offering.
It's got the same description as the thing I read on the thing. Yeah, cool can.
Ooh, that is a strong smell.
Yep.
Already. I always love the smell of beer. Oh, I'm a foamy bitch today. Sad. I just love how it smells.
It's so good. It's like kind of floral-ish in a way.
Maybe that's the citrus.
Yeah, like fruity and flowery.
I keep going to sniff it, and then I get a little bit on the top of my lip.
It smells really good. It smells like a craft IPA.
Yeah, it does.
I'm so used to drinking these. So whenever you're ready over there.
I'm waiting for my foam to go down. Oh my God. If you have foam for longer than 4 hours, consult your doctor. Oh, look at that. Right to the brim.
Nice.
Skill.
The one thing I'm going to miss about the other couch, I mean, I still have it. It's just in the other room.
Isn't that a fear of spilling things on it?
Yes, because that was like fake leather, and this is
nice.
kind of like a velvety polyester plush. Yeah, I don't want to spill. Also, the cup holders.
There were cup holders?
There were cup holders.
I never noticed.
Yeah. Yep, so don't have those anymore.
Oh,
but
sad. Well, clink before you drink.
yes. Yep. I'm a fan. Wow.
Sorry, my first sip was all foam. Had to power through that.
There's so many layers to that.
Like onions.
And the finish on this one is, it just completely does a 180.
I agree.
There's these flavors that get introduced when you're done with your sip that you don't taste up front when you're drinking it. It's really good. I can't describe any of them. It's not too harsh. Definitely hoppy.
For it being a 6% for ABV, I'm surprised it's not as harsh as it would be.
Mm-hmm. Not too bad.
No, it's pretty smooth. Not extremely bitter. Mm-hmm. There's a weird aftertaste. That's the hops. That's just like just sits in the back of your throat. Yeah,
that's. I mean, I'm trying to think, because I've had other IPAs before where it's like you're done with your sip, and it is just this weird sort of flavor that comes with drinking, I guess, an IPA or most IPAs. We don't really know what we're talking about. We're not experts here. We're just our opinion. It's a very subjective opinion and evaluation of this beer. But this is different, the way that the beer finishes, and it's pleasant. I enjoy it. I like it. I'm almost halfway done.
I don't hate it. I'll let you know how I feel by the end of it.
I'm trying to think what fruits I'm tasting. A little bit of grapefruit, maybe. A little bit of caramel.
If you had a beer advocate review, they'd tell you for you.
Should we look one up?
No, that's my thing.
You don't want to look one up?
No, it's my thing.
Okay, fine.
Do that when I do the beer segment. Jesus Christ.
Those of you listening, you can feel free to look up your own beer advocate.
No, you're not allowed to.
Review, if you want to get a better idea of how this beer.
Yeah, if you want to have someone that's like actually aware of beer give you a breakdown.
Who knows what the hell they're talking about?
They'll break it down by like scent, look, taste.
We'll go beyond. It's good.
Yep.
Because that's all you're gonna.
We're trying.
Mostly what you're gonna get from us.
You still have a little hair sticking up there.
I swear to God. The more beer that we drink, I think we'll
stronger.
Develop our palates, and we'll kind of gain a better idea of how we can talk about these.
Yeah,
beers
we'll become uppity.
Them. Yeah, we'll be snooty beer. We'll have our own beer advocate accounts.
Yeah.
Soon
enough, we'll be cool enough for that. I doubt it. Those guys are pretty cool.
They are pretty cool. We can only dream. Those are some aspirations right there. This is a good beer. I love it, and I'm happy to hang on to the remaining 4 cans that I'll have in my fridge.
Well, I feel like that's a good way of like comparing it. You're like, I'm happy to have the cans.
Yes.
They're like, I'm happy to keep these bottles.
Yes.
Unlike Famoso, where you're just like, I could
still in the
pour this
fridge.
down the drain.
I'm sorry, Guatemala. It was essentially, we talked about this. It's your Bud Light.
It is your Bud Light.
And I would say Bat Squatch still has my vote as number one so far. I like that fruity complexness of it. It wasn't as like in your face. It wasn't an IPA either, but it wasn't in your face like some of these other beers are.
Yeah.
But it was a good pick. I'm glad we picked it.
The Man.
The Man by Ale
Which
Man.
we'll go into. The Slender Man, which I hate that it starts with the.
Yeah, I meant to
find varying things where it's like it's either Slenderman or the Slenderman.
I meant to ask because I have a part in my notes at the top. Is it Slenderman, like one word, or is it Slender Man? Because the way
He's got different names.
well, if you were to tell someone, hey,
I say Slenderman.
Slenderman,
Yeah, I don't say the Slenderman.
but say you're going to type it out to your friend. It's like, hey, we're doing a podcast. This week's podcast is about Slenderman. How would you type it?
I would just say this week's episode is about Slenderman.
No, but how would you type Slenderman?
Oh, as slender and then man.
So a space between the two.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is it Slenderman, like one word?
Oh no, it's no.
Or Slenderman?
But you can also spell it where it's just one word.
Right. I was looking on Google, and you can compare two Google terms to see their popularity between the two. And I looked up Slenderman, one word, and Slenderman, two words. And actually, the two words has higher search rate, higher popularity. It might be because of the movie.
Oh, I would say maybe just autocorrect puts a space between it, and the people are just like enter.
Yeah. And when I looked up the creepypasta too, it said like you just said, the Slender Man. But I always put it together as one word.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
Slender Man, also spelled Slender Man. Like the Slender Man or Slender Man.
The
I should say Slender Man.
Slender Man.
The Slenderman, Saul Slenderman, is a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta, like Zach said, internet meme, created by Something Awful Forums user Eric Knudsen, also known as Victor Surge, as his username.
Yep.
In 2009, which is crazy because I feel like it's been on longer than that. And isn't it just so weird to think about how you can have something in your like day-to-day life for so long, but then look back to when it originated from?
I knew it was right around like
I was a freshman in high school.
yeah, that early high school time. I remember it coming out around that time. Do you talk about what creepypasta is at all?
No.
For those of you who might not know, it's essentially like a Wikipedia sort of internet forum that you can go on, and people submit their scary, spooky, fictional
Which there
stories.
are some good ones on there.
There
People
are a lot
are
of really
creative
good
as
ones.
hell.
And yeah, we were like we were saying, this came out, like Paige said, 2009. This was one of the first ones that kind of blew up. So
He is depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall humanoid with a featureless head and face wearing a black suit. But it was June 10th, 2009.
the exact date, huh?
Yeah, just be
Wow.
specific.
Okay.
Stories of the Slender Man commonly feature him stalking, abducting, or traumatizing people, particularly children. Slenderman is not confined to a single narrative, but appears in many disparate works of fiction, typically composed online. Fiction relating to the Slenderman encompasses many media, including literature, art, and video series, such as Marble Hornets.
Yes.
Which, do you go into Marble Hornets?
I don't talk about Marble Hornets. I figured we would bring it up at some point during our discussion.
Okay, I don't go into a lot of detail with it, but it was look it up. Look up Marble Hornets. I don't know.
Yeah, if you've never heard of it, check it out. It's pretty cool.
Slenderman is known as the operator in Marble Hornets, but look it up. My sister showed it to me when I was like a kid, and oh my god, it's so spooky.
I forget how I found out about it on YouTube. I think their videos just blew up right around the same time Slenderman started becoming a huge thing. I think it was one of the first video series that you could watch on YouTube, and these guys did such a phenomenal job at making this like scary as hell, and it's really captivating. It pulls you in. You want to go into the next episode right away. I think they have like 70 or so entries. They stopped making them after a few years, and I've been meaning maybe we can watch it after the podcast. We can.
Can we?
We can check out Marble Hornets again.
Like I said, I don't work till late tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been years since I watched it, and I've been meaning to check it out again.
Okay. So the history of Slenderman, it was based off of, or actually inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's, the guy that did Cthulhu and all the dark void shit.
It was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's what? Just by him?
H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Not a specific character, but influenced by, like the writings of it influenced it, I guess.
Okay.
Like I said, created on June 10th, 2009 on Something Awful Internet Forum. The thread was a Photoshop contest in which users were challenged to create paranormal images. Forum poster Victor Surge contributed 2 black and white images of groups of children, to which he added a tall, thin, spectral figure wearing a black suit. Although previous entries had consisted solely of photographs, Surge supplemented his submission with snatches of text, supposedly from witnesses, describing the abductions of the groups of children and giving the character the name The Slenderman. So from Eric, it's The Slenderman with a space.
Do you happen to have these photos?
No.
Let me.
I remember the original ones, though.
Because I didn't want to look too much into the
History.
Yeah, into the history and how it was made and how it was formed and everything like that. But I did click on a few links just to kind of see, like, okay, how did this become a thing? I don't know if this is one of the first ones, the one with the swing set.
Yep,
Is it?
That's one of them.
Okay, because I'll add this on the on
This
the
is one of
website.
them too.
You should save that or text it to me or something, and I'll put these on the website because.
Yeah, it was just those two, just these two.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, send that other one to me. Or I'll look it up on my computer.
Just look up original Slenderman pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I remembered it was a Photoshop thing.
Yeah, it was a contest.
From what I clicked on.
Here's one of the quotes, and it was one of the quotes from the first photographs. Like I was saying, he put in text to give it background. We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them. But its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. And then the title is 1983 Photograph Unknown, Presumed Dead.
Ah, that's so cool.
And then the second photograph is one of 2 recovered photos from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished, and for what is referred to as the Slenderman. Deformities cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13th, 1986. Which, can you just give him credit for that? That's so creative.
That is amazing.
People are creative as hell.
That's so cool.
I love it. These additions effectively transformed the photographs into a work of fiction. Mm-hmm. Subsequent posters expanded upon the character, adding their own visual or textual contributions. Knudsen was inspired to create the Slenderman primarily by Zach Parsons' The Insidious Beast, Stephen King's The Mist reports of Shadow People, Mothman, and The Mad Gasser of Mattoon. Mad Gasser of Mattoon. Other inspirations for the character were the Tall Man from the 1979 film Phantasm, H.P. Lovecraft, the surrealist work of William S. Burroughs, and their survival horror video games Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Knudsen's intentions was to formulate something whose motivations can barely be comprehended and which caused unease and terror in a general population. Mm-hmm. Other pre-existing fictional or legendary creatures which are similar to the Slenderman include the Gentleman, a black-suited pale bald demon from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, the Hush Men in Black, many accounts of which grant them an uncanny appearance with an unnatural walk and oriental features, and the Question, a DC Comics superhero with a blank face whose secret identity is Victor Sage, a name similar to Knudsen's alias Victor Surge.
Oh, interesting.
In her book, Folklore, Horror Stories, and the Slenderman, The Development of an Internet Mythology, Professor Shira Chess of the University of Georgia connected the Slenderman to ancient folklore about fairies. Like fairies, the Slenderman is otherworldly, with motives that are often difficult to grasp, like fairies. His appearance is vague and often shifts to reflect what the viewer wants to see, or fears. And like fairies, the Slenderman calls the woods and wild places his home and kidnaps children. After the post, the Slenderman soon went viral, spawning numerous works of fan art, cosplay, and online fiction known as creepypasta. Horror stories told in short snatches. It wasn't originally from creepypasta. It inspired a creepypasta.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, okay, so the whole creepypasta thing came from Slenderman?
From Eric's post.
Oh, wow.
So it was a different forum, and then someone saw that and made a creepypasta about it.
Ah.
So he didn't originate as a creepypasta.
Interesting.
And like Zach was talking about, it's horror stories told in short, easy, copyable text that spread from site to site. Divorced from its original creator, the Slenderman became the subject of myriad stories by multiple authors within an overarching mythos. Many aspects of the Slenderman mythos first appeared on the original Something Awful Fred, where Eric first posted. One of the earliest editions was added by a forum user named Thorup, who created a folklore story set in the 16th century Germany involving a character called Der Großmann, which was implied to be an early reference to the Slenderman.
That's a S set?
Oh, okay.
That B-looking thing?
Yeah, that looks like
S set?
Thank you.
Der Großmann.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. If anyone didn't know, Zach's very into speaking German.
The large man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at you. The large man. Need one of those. The first video series involving the Slenderman evolved from a post on the Something Awful thread by user Cigars. Maybe like cigars or cigars.
Cigars.
But he spelled it with an E.
Oh.
I don't know. It tells of a fictional film school friend named Alex Crayley who had stumbled upon something troubling while shooting his first feature-length picture, Marble Hornets. The video series, published in found footage style on YouTube, forms an alternate reality game describing the filmer's fictional experiences with the Slenderman. The ARG also incorporates a Twitter feed and alternate YouTube channel created by a user named To The Ark. And then as of 2013, Marble Hornets, which you need to see because it is so spooky, has had over 250,000 subscribers and reached 55 million views.
I feel like it would be bigger than that.
You would think, but it's not that notable.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I found out about it is because my sister found out about it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have never heard of it before, but it's pretty neat.
There are several games that it inspired, which, I mean, if you were super into Let's Players for a while, a lot of them played the 8 pages, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah, where you're in a forest and you got to collect the pages.
Yeah, and then there was a
trees.
sequel called The Arrival in 2013. But it's been downloaded over 2 million times.
Yep, Slender the 8 pages. That's right. Is it on Steam?
I think so. It might be.
Oh, Slender the Arrival is on Steam. It's $10. If you're on Steam, check it out. Play it. It's got good reviews.
Because the Slenderman's fictional mythology has evolved without an official canon for reference, which is like... How do you explain canon? What's officially recognized by the fandom?
Yeah.
Or the creator.
Like an origin, almost?
Yeah, I guess you could say an origin. Like, if you were watching something, you'd be like, that's not canon, because it was...
It deviates from what is...
Yes, and from what's been,
accepted
yes,
by the community
well, I don't even think the community... It's hard to say, because it was created by Eric and then picked up by so many different people with varying histories behind it. Mm-hmm. With him being the original creator, I would say anything that he says about the character would be canon.
Right. That's a pretty good description.
So I would say whatever Eric Knudsen says is actually canon about the character.
Yeah.
Rather than what you saw on Creepypasta or from random people who just have opinions about it.
Yeah, because there's so many people have created by this point so many different stories and deviations of the original story that people they're bound to add their own sort of details and opinions to these stories, and some of that can be a little controversial, but.
So he's evolved without any official canon for reference. His appearance, motives, habits, and abilities are not fixed, but changing depending on the storyteller. He is most commonly described as very tall and thin, with unnaturally long tentacle-like arms or merely tentacles, which he can extend to intimidate or capture prey. In most stories, his face is white and featureless, but occasionally his face appears differently to anyone who sees it. He appears to be wearing a dark suit and tie. The Slenderman is often associated with the forest or abandoned locations and has the ability to teleport. Proximity to the Slenderman is often said to trigger a slender sickness, a rapid onset of paranoia, nightmares, and delusions accompanied by nosebleeds. What, you got baby slender sickness? Early stories featured him targeting children or young adults. Some featured young adults driven insane or to act on his behalf, which... I don't know if you went into it. I'm going to go into it a little bit.
The 3 girls?
Yes.
That's my whole story.
Okay, I won't go into it then. While others did not, and others claimed that investigating the Slenderman will draw his attention. The web series Marble Hornets established the idea of proxies, humans who fall under the Slenderman's influence. Though initially they were simply violently insane rather than puppets of the Slenderman, Marble Hornets also introduced the idea that Slenderman could interfere with video and audio recordings, as well as the Slenderman symbol, which was a circle with an X through it, which became a common trope of Slender fiction.
I think that was...
Slender fiction.
I don't know if that was originated by Marble Hornets or if that was originated by the original creator of Slenderman. It's that circle with the X. It's because it's called the operator symbol from what I saw it online, which the operator is from Marble Hornets. So I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Marble Hornets. Oh my God, somebody had abandoned ferrets. Oh, I would have taken the ferrets home. Damn it, this is what happens when I'm not at work. Damn it.
That's adorable.
Graphic violence and body horror are uncommon in the Slenderman mythos, with many narratives choosing to leave the fate of his victims obscure. Shira Chess, the woman who we talked about a little bit ago, who wrote that book, notes that it is important to note that few of the retellings identify exactly what kind of monster the Slenderman might be, and what his specific intentions are. These points all remain mysteriously and usefully vague.
That's what adds to the creepy factor. Is just the unknown.
Yeah, that's just horror in general.
Of what happens to their victims. It's like their bodies aren't found like all mauled and bloody somewhere in the middle of a forest. It's like they just disappear.
Yeah. I won't go into the what you go into. There's other stories of the issue of it caused a panic, basically.
Oh yeah.
What you're gonna go into. There's one where an unidentified woman from Cincinnati, Ohio, told a TV reporter in June 2014 that her 13-year-old daughter had attacked her with a knife and had written fiction involving the Slenderman, who the mother had said motivated the attack.
Damn.
And then September 4th, 2014, a 14-year-old girl in Port Richey, Florida, allegedly set her family's house on fire while her mother and 9-year-old brother were inside. Police reported that the teenager had been reading online stories about Slenderman, and and that's that manga, that anime Soul Eater.
Yeah.
She was also reading that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
And kids committing arson.
I know. Kids are fucking crazy. There's folkloric qualities where people will paint him, I guess, comparable to other folklore characters. Several scholars have argued that despite being a fictional work with an identifiable origin point, the Slenderman represents a form of digital folklore. Shira Chess argues that the Slenderman exemplifies the similarities between traditional folklore and the open source ethos of the internet. And that, unlike those of traditional monsters such as vampires and werewolves, the fact that the Slenderman's mythos can be tracked and signposted offers a powerful insight into how myth and folklore form.
Dog?
No, I thought I heard like a guitar.
Oh, the guy below me who has a dog also has a guitar.
Oh.
So, he may just be playing.
Is it just one guy?
I don't know. I think he's got a kid. I saw like a teenager walking around before. I don't know.
Okay. Chess identifies 3 aspects of the Slenderman mythos that tie it to folklore. Folklore. Collectively meaning that it is created by a collective rather than a single individual. Variability meaning that the story changes depending on the teller.
Yep.
And performance meaning that the storyteller's narrative changes to reflect the responses of his or her audience.
Makes sense.
Slenderman is also considered to be an authentic form of folklore and notes its similarity to emergent forms of offline legend performance.
Offline legend performance? Okay.
Andrew Peck suggests that digital folklore performance extends the dynamics of face-to-face performance in several notable ways, such as by occurring asynchronously, encouraging imitation and personalization, while also allowing perfect replication, combining elements of oral, written, and visual communication, and generating shared expectations for performance that enact group identity, despite the lack of physical representation.
Makes sense.
He's got several references in media. In 2011, he was created as a new mob in Minecraft. So the Enderman.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Enderman was inspired by Slenderman.
Yes. The Slenderman was the antagonist of the season 3 Lost Girl episode, not even going to try. You ever watch Lost Girl?
No.
So it's like...
Is it about a girl that gets lost?
No, she's a succubus.
Oh.
It's actually pretty good. I recommend it. There's some steamy scenes in there with some very attractive men.
Steamy.
The TV series Supernatural parodied Slenderman as Thin Man. I remember that episode. That was actually kind of creepy.
I didn't see that.
Really? Oh, it was actually kind of creepy. In the season 9 episode of the same name. And then... it's just when it's in media. It's just... There's 2 movies about it.
I don't think they got really good reviews.
No. I've seen one of them. It's
rather disappointing.
Very. And they hyped it up.
Yeah.
Like, God, that's what they always do.
That's what always happens.
It was so shitty. I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but like, I feel like you should agree with me that it was just bad. But like I said, appeared in video games, Slender, the 8 Pages, Slender, the Arrival, inspired Enderman in Minecraft. There's a film adaptation of Marble Hornets, where he was portrayed by Doug Jones, and the film Slenderman, where he was portrayed by Javier Botet. Javier. But yeah, that's Slenderman.
That's super cool. I feel like if I were 13 again, I'd be like full on geeking out right now. Just all this information. Because it's a really... I think it's awesome how it just originated as... like you said, a Photoshop contest of people submitting. And one of the links that I clicked on, I think it brought me to the original forum where some guy was like, hey, this has been a cool idea of mine to see if we can create stories out of Photoshopped images. This is where I've gotten all my images from. This is my reference. And these are a few of the images that I've created. And I clicked on the reference link, and it's just an album of some random person. I didn't really look into them, but it's a Flickr album where they uploaded like 600 photos of their childhood. So a lot of these are like Polaroid photos or like really old photos that were taken on really old cameras and stuff like that. So they already look grainy and just not, super crystal clear, but they almost, just the photos themselves have that sort of vibe to them where it's like, I can definitely see how these could be interpreted as being creepy just because the way the photos are stylized naturally because they're so old. And he used these photos to then alter and doctor them and add his own little stuff into them and then created backstories to them. I like how that just blew up and expanded into this huge, almost a universe of Slenderman. Almost an obsession for some people as well. Obviously, there's the Creepypasta Wiki, which you can go online, and if you Google Creepypasta Wiki, you can read a bunch of different user-submitted stories that people create. They're all obviously fictional, but then Slenderman has its own wiki as well. It's just become that popular. So I think that's really cool how it's sort of evolved over the years, and so many different people have made these different adaptations, whether it's in video games or films or ARGs, like you said, on with video, like Marble Hornets. I think there's a few others besides Marble Hornets where they've done a similar thing, but I think Marble Hornets was probably the most popular out of all of them. And I'm excited to check that out again. I think we should watch a few episodes when we're done here. But yeah, you kind of hinted at it becoming an obsession and people getting really, really, really into it when it first started blowing up. Around 2009, 2010, 2011.
I was talking so much I forgot I had beer.
Yeah, you've got almost a full glass there.
You chug it.
But this section I'll be doing most of the talking, so you'll have plenty of time to enjoy your beer.
Which, God, I wish you hadn't touched on that topic because that was like a huge part of what made it so terrifying.
Like what, my story?
Yeah.
You wish that I didn't do my story about
this?
this?
So I could have done that.
Well, I'm going to do it now because
it's fine.
Actually, when we were trying to figure out a topic for this week, we mentioned Slenderman. You were the one who brought up that story, and it's like I had heard this story. I've heard this story actually a few times on. I think again, I'm going to mention, and that's why we drink and Wine and Crime, because they've both done this story. So I know the story very well. You're very familiar with this story as well.
God, yeah.
But I think it is a really cool story. I could have done one of the tens of thousands of fictional stories involving Slenderman.
This one's more intense.
But this is cool because it is an account of something that actually happened. And it's one of the biggest, I think, real-life reactions that made the news to Slenderman, again, around when it started becoming really big. So this story took place 6 years ago in Waukesha, Wisconsin. On the morning of Saturday, May 31st, 2014, a bicyclist came across a severely injured but still alive 12-year-old girl who had crawled out of the woods. She stopped the bicyclist asking, "Can you help me, please? I've been stabbed multiple times." So this story involves 3 friends, Morgan Geyser, Anissa Wire, and Peyton Leutner. And I have a...
Never trust a Peyton.
Never trust a Peyton. This is a picture of... Oh, what is going on with my computer? It's a picture of the 3 of them. So there's Peyton, that's Morgan, and there's Anissa.
That one, you can tell. That one
You can't trust Anissa.
Satan in her eyes. That one right there.
So Peyton first became friends with Morgan in the 4th grade. According to Peyton, she first approached Morgan because she was sitting alone. Shortly thereafter, their friendship blew up, and they were hanging out after school, having sleepovers, all the fun little girl stuff. 2 years later, in the 6th grade, Morgan becomes friends with Anissa, and the two learn about Slenderman on the Creepypasta Wiki. We mentioned what that was, a website dedicated to internet horror stories. Its tagline, proudly hosting 12,151 of your worst nightmares since 2010.
Now I just want to go home and read creepypastas.
The two, Morgan and Anissa, become infatuated with Slenderman. Peyton, who's still friends with Morgan, is put off a little bit by the pair's newfound obsession. Slenderman actually frightens Peyton, and she didn't share in their fascination. However, Peyton was supportive and went along with it because she wished to remain friends with Morgan and Anissa.
Sure.
After uncovering more information about Slenderman, Morgan and Anissa aimed to become proxies of Slenderman, which you touched upon, thereby proving their dedication and loyalty to him and his existence to skeptics. So when I was doing my research, I looked this up on the Slenderman wiki. A proxy is the term given to those who serve the Slenderman. The theory behind the name is that proxies are entities or people who are under the influence or control of the Slenderman, or the same force that influences Slenderman, and act based on its wants and needs. Hence, proxies serve as an in-between for Slenderman. It is suspected that proxies do the actual physical work for Slenderman, such as creating and manipulating objects, destroying and leaving evidence, creating videos and responding on Twitter, because Slenderman can't respond on Twitter himself.
No, he's got tentacles. He can't text.
Right. And influencing victims as needed. So in order to become proxies, they were required to kill someone and began devising their plan in
Anyone's
December.
curious on how to become a proxy.
Don't do this.
We are not telling you
We're
to
not
kill
advocating
someone.
any of this.
We don't advocate for Slenderman.
So they began devising this plan in December of 2013. In the following months, Morgan and Anissa would discuss their plans and how they'd go about executing them in private. The two would sometimes talk on the bus and use code words, such as when they'd get to go on their camping trip.
Nobody likes to camp.
Skip ahead to February, and Morgan and Anissa decided Peyton would be their target.
Poor Peyton.
And planned to commit the act on May 30th, the night Peyton planned to celebrate her 12th birthday.
Sorry, what? I wasn't listening. Sorry, go ahead.
They planned to commit this act on May 30th, the night that Peyton planned to celebrate her 12th birthday.
That's just mean.
12 years old. They're going to kill her. May 30th comes around.
On her birthday.
On her birthday. And the three girls spend the whole day together. They go roller skating. They enjoy pizza. They do all the same fun little girl stuff that I mentioned earlier. And then they head back to Morgan's house for a sleepover.
Sure.
Something that Peyton was super excited about.
Yes.
However, Morgan and Anissa intended for the remainder of the evening to finish up in a wildly different way, in a way Peyton couldn't have ever imagined.
Yeah, how do you imagine that?
You don't. As a 12-year-old...
It's like, hey, my two friends want to kill me.
Doesn't cross your mind. Their original plan was to, while Peyton was asleep, tape her mouth shut.
What the fuck?
Stab her in the neck.
Oh my
and
God.
then flee.
And then flee.
And then just run away.
That's like such 12-year-old mentality. Like, they don't know it was us.
Gotta get out of here. They decided not to carry out this plan. I guess they were all a little tired that night. They didn't want to go through
All that
it.
rollerblading.
And Morgan decided to, in her own words, give her one more day.
Oh my God. That's so creepy.
Morgan and Anissa did have a backup plan. They intended to take a trip to the woods, lure Peyton into the bathroom, and stab her there. They decided on the location because the bathroom had drains for the blood.
The bathroom? Like a park bathroom?
Like a public restroom in a park.
There's drains for the blood.
Yep. The following morning, the three do exactly this.
This is fucked up.
And while in the public restroom, Anissa attempts to knock Peyton out. This fails and just pisses Peyton off. She, however, decides to stay with the two girls.
Bitch.
And follows them as they continue off farther into the woods.
They try and knock you out and you just want to stay with them?
Yeah, I guess there was some dispute, and then she forgave them, and they continued on.
They're like, we were just kidding. It's just a joke. We were just trying to knock you out a little.
The three begin a game of hide and seek.
Oh, God.
At this point, Anissa pushes Peyton down and sits on her, believing Morgan would then begin stabbing her. Peyton begins to yell and complain that she can't breathe. Anissa gets off Peyton and is then handed the knife by Morgan. Anissa chickens out, complains she's too squeamish, and hands the knife back to Morgan. Morgan tells Anissa, "I'm not going until you tell me to." Anissa then says, "Go ballistic, go crazy, now." The girls stab Peyton 19 times in her arms, legs, and torso with a kitchen knife bearing a 5-inch long blade, piercing her liver, pancreas, stomach, and just missing a major artery of her heart by less than a millimeter. Peyton cries out, "I hate you, I trusted you," while the two tell her to lay down and be quiet while they went and got help. They instead simply left. After the pair leave, Peyton drags herself to a grassy area near the edge of the woods where she is spotted by a passing bicyclist. We are going to listen to the 911 call.
Oh my God, that's so spooky.
911. What's the address of your emergency?
Waukesha County, Lenny. I'm transferring over a caller on Big Bend at the dead end just south of Rivera.
Okay.
He's calling from 262. Came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, are you still there?
Yes.
Hi, sir. So are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yes, she says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
Stabbed multiple times?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Are you with her right now?
Yes.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
Is she breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing. She said she can take shallow breaths. She's alert.
Okay, stay with her. We're sending the police department. Don't hang up, okay?
Oh,
Hold on just a minute. Don't hang up.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on just a minute, sir. We're sending officers.
Okay.
Is there any assailant around?
I didn't even look. I don't see anybody.
It's a dead end. Okay, stay right with her, sir. Is she on the ground or is she standing up?
No, she's laying on the grass.
Laying on the grass. Stay right with her. Just let me know if she is remaining conscious or not, okay?
Okay.
Is there any bleeding going on?
Her clothing has got blood on it.
Where are the wounds? Do you see where the wounds are?
No, I don't know if I should be rolling her over and checking or not. Do you know where?
Okay, just stay with her and just let me know if she's conscious or alert or stops breathing or anything. Hold on, I'm going to talk to the ambulance. Police are also en route.
Okay, thank you. Somebody's coming. Sun bothering you at all? Not shade? Okay. Very
Okay. Just keep her in that position. Just let me know on her breathing.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
My name?
Your name?
My name, Greg Steinberg.
Greg. Okay, were you just passing through?
Yes.
Okay, and you found her and she was just laying there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you see any active bleeding or blood spurting out or anything like that?
No, unless it's underneath her. I just see just dried blood.
Okay, just dried blood. Okay. Okay, is she still breathing? Is she still alert?
Yeah.
Okay, stay with her.
Yep.
Stay with her. Keep an eye on her. Hold on just a minute. Do not hang up, sir.
Okay, I will not. Here any minute. Somebody will help you. Who did that to you? Or don't you want to talk? Okay. Well, if it's better not to talk, then don't talk. With your energy.
And she didn't say who did this or how it
I
happened?
don't know. I don't know if she wants to be talking. I started to ask her,
Okay.
and then
That's okay. If she's...
she's got to save her energy, I think.
Okay, but you see nobody else around you. Are you clearly visible when they pull down that road towards the dead end that they'll see you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Are you clearly visible when they come down there so they see you?
I'm going to have, I got a strobe flashlight on my bicycle. I'll shine that towards any emergency vehicle I see. And I'll be standing in the middle of the road.
You're in the middle of the road, and where's she, in the side of the road?
Yeah, she's on the grass. It's a little trail I take on my bicycle.
Okay, see. Don't hang up, sir. Just stay right with me.
Okay.
And let me know immediately if you see anything else suspicious in the area, a car, a person, anything.
All right.
Keep your eyes open. Was anyone coming or leaving, or any cars coming or leaving when you came upon her?
No.
Nothing?
No.
So were you on foot walking by, or did you pull up in a car?
Bicycle.
You're on a bicycle.
Yeah.
How did you see her? Did you just...
She's right in the middle of the little path I take.
Middle of the little path. Okay.
Yeah. There's a squad car coming now.
Okay, the squad car coming? Okay, flag the squad car down, protect her.
There he's coming.
Does she have a bike or anything with her?
No, I don't see it. One sandal is off. But, maybe 3 feet away from her.
Okay, flag that officer down. I'm going to let you go. Okay, you meet with him right now, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
That's pretty crazy.
Depressing.
So, I actually pulled it up on a map too, where you can see. So this is Big Bend Road in Waukesha, and it's in the middle of this neighborhood, which I'm presuming they probably lived somewhere in this neighborhood, and they walked to here. This used to all be forest. They cleared all that out, but this is the dead end at Big Bend where they were, and the bicyclist was riding south on this road. The road ends for vehicles here, and if I'm able to zoom in here, you can see, not very good quality, but there is a chain that blocks off this road. So this is Big Bend Road. See all the trees and stuff there? There's the neighborhood, and then the road ends right here and just turns into a kind of like a dirt path with a chain here. So the bicyclist, I think, was taking this path down, and that's where they found her on the edge of those trees.
These kids suck.
Whew. So, a Waukesha police officer then later visits the home of Peyton's mother and father. Peyton's mom, Stacy's first thought was, something has happened to somebody that I love. Both parents were blindsided, and minutes later they rushed to the hospital to see their daughter. Morgan and Anissa head north in hopes of finding Slenderman, who apparently resides in his mansion somewhere in Wisconsin's Nicolet National Forest. That is 200 miles away from where the stabbing took place and a 65-hour walk. So they had a long way to go. The two were located by police at a furniture store near Interstate 94 about 4 hours later, and then taken into custody. They made it 2.4 miles. Out of the 200 miles they needed to walk, they made it 2.4 miles. And they were found at a furniture store. This is their booking photo. That's Morgan and Anissa.
I told you that one had Satan in her eyes. Ugh. Horrible little creatures.
And Peyton spent a week recovering and returned to school in September 2014, later that year. That is insane. A week recovery.
I feel like you would never be able to trust people after that.
Week recovery and return to school. That's impressive. Morgan and Anissa initially blamed the other during interrogations conducted by police. One said she told the other they could become proxies if they killed Peyton, and if they didn't, Slenderman would kill her entire family. The other said it was her friend who had convinced her that Slenderman would harm the pair's family if they didn't follow through with their plan. Both girls also initially claimed that it was the other who first struck the victim. It seems one girl was excited to obtain proof of Slenderman's existence and prove the skeptics wrong, while the other was more afraid of what would happen if she didn't comply. When questioned by police, the girls expressed regret mixed with cold-blooded intent. One is quoted as saying, Anissa is quoted as saying, "I believe it's ending a life, and I regret it. The bad part of me wanted her to die. The good part of me wanted her to live." The pair were initially tried as adults for attempted first-degree intentional homicide, facing up to 65 years in prison. They weren't charged until years later in December 2017. In initial trials, Anissa pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide, but then the jury later found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. Morgan accepted a plea offer under which she would not go to trial, instead receiving an evaluation by psychiatrists to determine how long she should be placed in a mental hospital. She also pleaded guilty, but was also not found guilty by reason of mental disease or defect and was diagnosed with schizophrenia. This is a photo of them in trial a few years later. I think they're around 17, 18 at this point. Possibly, because the details here of how they were charged and what they were charged for, it got a little confusing because there were mixed stories I was reading from different articles. So this is possibly during a later trial. Anissa received the maximum 25 years in a mental health facility after pleading guilty to being an accomplice to second-degree intentional homicide. At least 3 of those years would be spent in a locked confinement and involved involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute, followed by communal supervision until age 37. In February 2018, Morgan received 40 years in a mental hospital after pleading guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Difference between first degree and second. First degree is premeditated. Second degree lacks planning and deliberation. So Anissa...
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, Anissa was charged with second degree. Morgan was charged with first degree. It sounded like Morgan was the one who...
Morgan looks like
who
the
wanted
one.
to convince the skeptics that Slenderman existed.
Morgan looks like the one that wanted
Well,
to.
you keep talking about Anissa. This is Morgan.
Yeah.
So Anissa, that's Anissa.
Yeah.
That's Morgan.
Yeah. I know. Anissa's got the devil in her eyes, but Morgan looks like a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah,
I know who's who.
It sounds like she wanted to prove the skeptics wrong, while Anissa was kind of, quote unquote, along for the ride, I guess. Again, Anissa handed the knife back to Morgan, and I think Morgan was the first one who had stabbed Peyton. So at least 3 of those years that Morgan needed to serve would be spent in confinement, in addition to involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric institute, until complete resolution of symptoms or until age 53, whichever happened first. This is to be followed by continued communal supervision, periodic reevaluations, and or reinstitution and further treatment as needed. In 2020, an appeals court rejected Morgan's petition to be retired as a juvenile. So this year, apparently she went to an appeals court and they denied her petition. She was tried as an adult. And a reporter had asked how Peyton found the strength to crawl out of the woods, the victim's family stated in a statement. Her response was simple: "I wanted to live."
Oh.
And she miraculously survived. This was Peyton when around 2014, as she looked then. And that's her now.
Oh, look
She's
at her.
happy and smiling and moving
I hope
on.
She has friends.
Hopefully moving on with her life.
And trusting people. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Poor
it's got to be
Peyton.
very difficult to...
Well, you were friends with these people.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere.
For years, yeah.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere, it's just... You feel like you could trust them, and then they try to kill you.
It's strange how they chose her as the target.
I'm guessing probably just it was easy to get her to trust them.
Convenience is just she happened to be hanging out with them all the time. And it's kind of fucked up that they decided on her 12th birthday to do this.
That's very fucked up.
Yeah.
What killed me more than anything was them saying, "We'll let her have another day."
Yeah.
Like that right there just shows me, like, you were actually, you were going to murder this person.
Yep, malicious intent.
There is no reason that you should not be guilty. Like that's so sad.
Yeah, it's
A child. Children killing children.
it's miraculous that she's alive today. I'm grateful that she's still alive and is able to live on. And I'm very glad that both of them are being charged, to the maximum degree that they could be.
Clearly, they're both in psychiatric wards for a reason.
Yeah, they're
Getting help
mental
that they
evaluations.
clearly need.
Right, and there was a big reaction after this by the creepypasta community, by the creator of Slenderman as well. He expressed his remorse and everything on social media, and I think he was interviewed by some news stations as well.
Isn't that shitty too? Like you were creative, you made something for the internet for something that
you had never in your wildest dreams ever
assumed
believed
that this would go this way.
It would turn into something like that.
But the way that people take things and construe things.
They just get so obsessed with it. And this is not the only case. Like you mentioned, you did bring up a few other cases in your section as well.
There's more.
And I doubt things like this with Slenderman are still going on today.
Sure.
But yeah, there were plenty more before that. There were plenty more after that as well. It's just people getting too caught up in all this and believing it to be fact. And yeah, it did... it did have a pretty big response from the creepypasta community. They typed something on their main page expressing their remorse and everything like that. They said that they made it very clear that they didn't condone any of that behavior and anything like that. That wasn't the intent of creepypastas and why people submit stories.
It's just to enjoy the creativity of the community and the horror genre.
But when you're a kid, your mind goes to those places. Such an imaginative...
And two young girls that are clearly not mentally well.
Right. And it's hard to say whether they were mentally stable before this whole Slenderman thing. It's like they could have grown up to be normal, girls, but they just got their fascination with Slenderman just turned into, went off the rails. And I believe psychiatric evaluation is appropriate at this point after, doing what they did. But it's unfortunate for everyone. But I'm very happy that...
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, which one was diagnosed with schizophrenia?
I believe Morgan.
I mean, schizophrenia, it's not like I'm a doctor or a psychologist, but if she had underlying schizophrenia, it was just a matter of time till she found something to fixate on.
Right. And that's what I mean. It's hard to say. There's no evidence or proof saying that they were fit, right in the head before this happened. It's hard to say whether this maybe sparked or triggered something that had been dormant, in their minds for a while. But yeah, Morgan seemed to be the one that sort of pioneered this whole thing. She was charged with first degree and he was charged with second degree. Her attorney, Morgan's attorney, is still trying to fight for her and said she should have been charged with second degree. And all this other stuff. Obviously, she went to appeals court in 2020 to try and get charged as a juvenile instead of an adult. But it's unfortunate. And it's hard to say what was going through their minds during that time. Sure. But they just took it way too far.
Yes. Well, what'd you think of the beer?
Well, we're getting right out of that. How's the beer?
Don't put your foot near my banana bread. You get your foot away from my banana bread, Zachary.
I made it with my feet, so there shouldn't be.
Made it with your fucking feet. Prove it.
I'm still trying to process everything.
No, you're good. I enjoyed it.
It's sorry, I'm processing the story, not the beer.
Oh, I've moved on already.
Yeah, the beer was good. I'm surprised you liked it. I'm surprised you finished it.
I'm surprised I liked it too. But it wasn't really that hoppy for an IPA, and it was kind of refreshing in a way.
Yeah, it wasn't as strong as some other IPAs I've had.
What did you say? 6.8? 6.4?
It was 5 point something.
I thought
5.6.
Pretty sure it's 6.
It was almost 6.
I thought you said 6.
6.8.
Why do you question me ever?
I don't know. You're always right. I mean, you could definitely tell it's not a weak beer.
Yeah. but it's not as hoppy. And that just, again, like you said, you can't do the blanket statement of I don't like IPAs or certain things, because not everything, even though it falls under that title, is going to taste the same. And I always have that mentality where it's like the higher the ABV, the hoppier it's going to be, the more bitter it's going to taste.
Exactly. I don't.
But
think
that's not the case.
Not necessarily true, right? And that's why I'm excited about trying more beers and having more episodes, because it will sort of expand our palate and understanding of different beers and how they all differ from one another.
Yep.
I myself have very limited knowledge of how beer is made and what an IPA really is. It was really cool researching this beer and researching IPAs and discovering more information that I didn't know. And it makes me excited to try more IPAs later down the road. But again, this is not craft beer and fear. I'm sure we'll have plenty other beers that
your catchphrase now
will not be IPAs. So I'm excited to not only try different IPAs, but try many different types of beers.
Yep. Maybe someday we'll actually get a beer that fits with the title of the topic.
Well, I thought this was pretty
That's good.
fitting.
I'm just saying, like, maybe someday we'll actually get a topic and then have a beer.
Our first episode.
But it was like
Zombies, zombie dust.
Yeah, but it was a bad beer.
Oh yeah, you didn't like it.
I did not like it.
I thought it wasn't bad.
You don't hate really any of these. The only one you had a strong opinion on was Famosa.
Yeah.
You have a much more accepting palate
Purple
than I do.
Haze.
The one I fucking picked.
Yeah. Well, even I gotta say, even the second one, the Porter, Stranger Than Fiction. It was good. I don't know. It was all right.
It was good. Someone put that on a T-shirt with his face on it.
It was good.
It was
With
good.
me holding a beer.
Yes. It was good.
I recently found out that Collective Arts Brewing, who made Stranger Than Fiction, well, we talked about in that segment, they make other cocktails too. They make different types of liquor, and they make. I saw an ad or a post on Instagram, Collective Arts, because we follow them on Instagram now. They, I don't know if it's brand new. It looked like it was brand new. They have gin now.
Oh.
So they came out with like this hibiscus gin.
Oh, that sounds good.
And it's like pink.
Ooh.
And I want to buy it. So maybe next time I'm at Benny's, I'll look for that. Collective Arts Brewing.
That sounds good.
I'm excited to try that as well.
I enjoyed it, like I was saying, and I guess you enjoyed it. You didn't really say.
I didn't really say. No, I went off on one of my tangents.
You did.
I thought it was good. I thought it was very fitting. I'm glad I was able to find a beer that somewhat tied into our topic. And I'd never heard of this brewery before, Ailman Brewing. It seems to be a smaller, more independent brewery in Chicago. They make a bunch of different kinds of beer as well. I'd be excited to try a few of their other beers.
Well, I would say just from this one that I'm very open to trying other beers from them. It was very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But I was going to say something.
Does it have something to do with Flights and Frights and how I really want to do that segment? And all of you are really slacking?
Oh my God. I don't think we should be criticizing our listeners.
Oh, well, I can't freaking handle criticism.
It's not their fault, okay? Some people just want to listen and enjoy the podcast, all right? We can't hold things against them for not wanting to. And maybe they don't have ghost stories, okay? It's fine. We'll get to it at some point. Flights and Frights isn't our podcast. Flights and Frights is just another extra
It's a
thing.
segment that I want to do.
Yeah, that we had come up with, and we were like, oh, this would be a really cool thing to do. But
Anything you want to add?
I liked this episode. I think this is a really cool episode.
Okay, that was random.
I'd like for us to touch on more. I'm sure we'll have more, because this was kind of like a true crime sort of thing. I think we'll have more true crime-ish episodes. There's only a finite amount of topics we can come up with that are, creepy. We have a running list.
That's not true.
But I feel like we're going to run out at some point. I'm afraid of that. This is only episode 8, and
You're
I feel like
wrong.
we're going to. So I would definitely be open to doing some episodes just covering some true crime stuff. So I liked this episode because I feel
I feel like it was spooky.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. It definitely deviated from some of our other episodes. But yeah, it definitely fits into.
The title is Beer and Fear.
Exactly.
Anything that instills fear.
It ties into our podcast. Definitely. So if you're still listening, thank you. Just a few things. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. We post occasionally. Sometimes I'll post passive aggressive pictures of myself talking about how Paige sleeps and how she needs to get over here so we can start our episode earlier in the day. Sometimes Paige will post pictures of her pets on Instagram. And it was just occasional updates here and there throughout the week in between our episodes. But you can follow us on all of those platforms if you want to stay up to date up to date with our episodes. We're also available on every single, pretty much all the popular podcast platforms that are out there. If you want us to get on a certain podcast platform that we're not on already, just send us an email or shoot us a message on social media. And then Flights and Frights as well. Paige brought up, we are open to receiving your personal horror or paranormal stories
With a beer recommendation.
So yeah, if you have like a ghost story, or if you were haunted or something, or if you had something creepy happen in your life that you really can't explain.
Like you were stalked.
I mean, really anything that ties into our podcast. Yeah.
Fear.
That you would be willing to share with us and allow us to read.
We would appreciate it.
And shout you out. Send that with a beer recommendation, and our goal is to have your beer while reading your story. So that's really cool. We look forward to that as well. Thanks for sticking around. This was a cool episode. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll be back next week. And Paige?
Have a good day. Kisses.